Good morning. Thank you for stopping by. That was a good one. That was a good one. But guess what? We are here. Jesus, breeze is coming in. It is absolutely cold. Sorry, guys. I got to cover me up. I got to cover me up because it is cold. Woo. It's spring, but here in North Carolina, it's cold. All that easterly breeze coming in. Yeah. It is good. But good morning, people. How everybody doing? Happy Wednesday morning to you all. Thank you so much for stopping by on my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by at this time of the morning when you should be wrapped up in bed, or maybe you are. Maybe you are wrapped up in bed, but welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Now you are at the place where we do what we do every morning, and you all know by now, you all should know by now what we do here every morning at around this time. Yeah, we do the Bible reading. And let me just make this clear, I do not endorse religion, I do not endorse denomination. I do not, yeah, those topics are just too divisive, and it brings up too many hard feelings, and people get upset. And if religious people would learn to agree to disagree with people who don't share their ideologies, then maybe we could. But they don't. They get upset. They're ready to call you names. They're ready to wish you death, and their God is gonna kill you, and he's gonna make you sick, and he's gonna do all these wicked things to you, all because you question what you have been given. So because of that, I I speak out loudly because I'm not afraid of you and your sickness or your death. Because one thing is for certain, two things is for sure. Every last one of us, whether you believe or you don't believe, every last one of us gonna leave here dead. That is for sure. So I don't pay too much attention to those threats. But anywho, for those of you who have been here, you would have you would have been here with us yesterday when we finished the reading of Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a rather interesting character, don't you think? Yeah, Jeremiah is a very interesting character in the Bible. And I say it all the time, unless you have read the entire book of Jeremiah, you better not try to conduct a conversation with somebody who has. Because if you have not read the entire book, you only go by what pastor tells you or what you have been taught in your church, and you only repeat a few verses. It's cold, guys, forgive me. And you only repeat a few verses out of Jeremiah, I can guarantee you that if you are defending religion in the name of Jeremiah, you're wrong if you ain't read the book. I'm telling you. If you ain't read the entire book, you ain't speaking truth. Because I was raised to believe that Jeremiah was one of the greatest prophets ever to live. And I grew up believing that. Like, oh, yeah, if you talk about Jeremiah in the Bible, Jeremiah was a great prophet. He was sent by God, if none other was sent by God. He definitely was, and all of this. But after having read the book of Jeremiah, I have so many questions about what do people consider to be greatness when it comes on to prophecy. Because, number one, and I'm not talking about just about how I feel about him, but the facts that guide my belief that Jeremiah was nowhere near the greatest prophet. If anything that is true is that Jeremiah was a crook. Did I stutter? You don't believe? Yeah, Jeremiah was a crook, in my view. You can have a different opinion. I don't care if you have a different opinion. That's fine with me if you have a different opinion. But Jeremiah was a crook. And let me just run down Jeremiah a little bit. Hold on, the people. Why is it showing me this? All right, let me just run down Jeremiah a little bit and why I say Jeremiah was a crook. Now, in the beginning of the book where Jeremiah said God came to him and God told him that he wanted him to go preach to the people of the north to tell them to come back to rebuild, to come back to rebuild Israel. Okay. He told the people also that God told him he was going to avenge them for them having forsaken him and for them having been worshiping other gods, etc. Okay? Now, in the midst of all that, he's also telling Jeremiah that the the people who are closely related to Jeremiah, they should leave Jerusalem before the onslaught happens. Now, if this God is impartial and all, why was he telling Jeremiah? Why was he telling Jeremiah to have the Benjaminites leave Jerusalem before the onslaught? Now, if you all remember, Jeremiah is a Benjaminite. So it is like God telling you, say you are from Louisiana, and God tells you that he is going to destroy Louisiana. But he tells you, okay, tell your family members, the people who are close to you, to leave Louisiana before I destroy it. Then that wouldn't be the service of a God for people. That would be giving preferential treatment, correct? Yeah. And would that be something that you'd expect a God to say, okay? I don't know, somebody gonna say, okay, but remember, no, I don't, we're not gonna talk about that. I know you all are going to, oh yes, God has his people, God chooses people. But shouldn't his people then be chosen because of their deeds and not because of who they're affiliated or associated or related to? Okay, mull on that. So he said God told him in chapter 6, he said God told him to to tell the Benjaminites. He told the Benjaminites they needed to leave because God was going to destroy the city. He said that the city was going to be destroyed by fire, by famine, and by pestilence. And aside from that, Jeremiah laid the groundwork for himself. Because remember, Jeremiah said all the prophets. He said God told him that all the other prophets before him were liars. That God said they had come in his name and had told the people things that he had said when he had no conversations with them. And because of that, God was so angry at them because he said they caused the people to act in a particular way, believing that they were serving him when he and those prophets had no conversation. He particularly mentioned Moses. He mentioned Samuel. He said, God said, don't even come to me in prayer about these children of Israel people because I don't want to hear anything from you. I don't want you coming to me to pray to me for these people. That's got to be some deep rooted hatred from a God to say to a prophet, listen, don't come to me and pray for the sins of these people. I don't want to hear it. They are evil. They are wicked. The only thing I'm going to do is to unleash my wrath on them. I'm going to slay each and every one of them. So don't even come to pray to me for them. Y'all don't find that to be problematic? I don't know, but I don't know. But people always say, you got issue, go pray. You got issue, go pray to God. He will listen to you. He will listen to everybody. He will take everybody's supplication. He will listen. And then you have in Jeremiah saying, God has told him, don't come pray, don't come before me to pray for these people because I will not listen. My mind is already made up. My wrath is already kindled against them, and I'm going to destroy them. So don't even come to pray. You may not find that to be problematic, but I do. But anyway, on top of that, Jeremiah said God told him that he was using. Jesus, it's cold. What's the temperature? Let me see what's the temperature. God damn, 34 degrees. Good God. Yeah. So, so Jeremiah said also, he was successful bring the people back. He said God told him he was going to let the birds of the air and the fowls and the animal, the beasts of the earth eat the people, drag them through. After they had been killed, he's gonna make sure that there is nobody there to bury them, and all of this just downright cruelty. But who was he going to use to destroy the people? He was going to use none other than Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, was not an Israelite. He was, in fact, he was the enemy of the Israelites. So when Jeremiah says God is using his servant Nebuchadnezzar to destroy Jerusalem, I found that also to be problematic, questionable, like concerning, because if this God who is all knowing and all powerful and almighty and he's everywhere, he knows everything, why then would he have to use his enemy to destroy the people he call his people? I find that to be problematic. But let's continue. Jeremiah. Jeremiah, after preaching in favor of Nebuchadnezzar for years, Nebuchadnezzar having come up and destroyed Israel, did you all notice that the one person who benefited from that destruction was Jeremiah? Y'all didn't notice that? Yeah. So Jeremiah preached in favor of Nebuchadnezzar for him to come up and to destroy Israel. He did come up. He did destroy Israel. He did slay the kings. He plucked out Zedekiah's eyes. He slaughtered the princes and the prophets and everybody. He slaughtered, and he took the professionals, the doctors and the lawyers, and everybody. He took them down. Andrea, good morning, love. He took them down to Babylon with him because he needed their services. Okay? Jeremiah told the people that God said they should go to Babylon peacefully with Nebuchadnezzar. And that too, I find to be problematic because you said the final drama of Jeremiah. No, it's not final. Remember, he also wrote the Lamentations. So we are going to be reading the Lamentation. I'm just talking about him a little bit here, a little snaps going over him a little bit. Yeah. So I found it to be quite problematic that, remember now, in Babylon, they worship the Baal, right? Now, the God of Israel is upset that the children of Israel are worshiping Baal. And that, he says, is what made him so angry, so unforgivably angry, that he sees no other recourse for them but death. And in the midst of that death, he's using his servant Nebuchadnezzar, his servant, to take them into bondage. And then Jeremiah says to the people, God says they should go willingly to Babylon. Why would God tell his people who is angry that they are not serving him? And he would say to them, well, y'all ain't serving me, and y'all are making me so mad. Why don't y'all just go down to Babylon and go serve Nebuchadnezzar? Is Nebuchadnezzar going to make them serve his God, Baal? That makes sense. But anyway, that's what Jeremiah said. Don't say Trev said it, because it wasn't me. Another drama. Exactly. But that's what Jeremiah said. And he went on to tell the people, God said that they should go down there, they should build houses, they should plant gardens, they should allow their children to marry and have kids and all of this. So the Israelite children Israelite people are supposed to commingle with the Babylonians and have children. So basically go integrate then into their society. Okay? Now, why I find that to be so troublesome is that he said God say after 70 years he's going to come back for the people. Now, after that 70 years when he come back for the people, what do you all think is going to happen? Do you think the people are going to even remember about this Jewish God? No, because the new people who would have been born down there in Babylon, they would have grown up with that culture. And that's the culture they would have been practicing. But he also said when they would have come back to Israel, they will no longer say, Hail to the God who brought us out of Egypt, but they will say, Hail to the God who brought us out of Babylon. So I guess he wanted to change the narrative of how the children of Israel or the descendants of Jacob saw him. But I read later on in the book of Jeremiah, after Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Israel, he gave Jeremiah full on protection. Remember, he appointed Nebuchadrezzar. What was that one? Nebuchadnezzar something. Don't quote me. I'm gonna go look it up. Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar appointed him to be the captain of the guards, and he appointed Gedaliah to be the governor of Israel. And what was it that he ordered them not to do? He said, don't let a hair on the head of Jeremiah hurt him. Let nobody harm him. Put your what's up. Give him anything and everything that he wants. Thank you, Poochie. Good morning, love. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. Okay, so if Nebuchadnezzar could say that the governor and the captain of the guard that he's appointed over this country that he has just demolished, he said, this one particular man, let nothing harm him, let no one harm him, take good care of him, give him whatever he wants. And this man was preaching all along in favor of Nebuchadnezzar. Could you still say that that man, Jeremiah, was also preaching in God's name? How are we going to preach in God's name and Nebuchadnezzar at the same time? I don't see how y'all don't find it problematic, but we're going to move right along. Then on top of that, the other countries that were around, he said God told him he wanted those countries as well to build the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar. So clearly, if you ask me, Jeremiah had a hand in the destruction of Israel. Jeremiah was working closely with Nebuchadnezzar. But Jeremiah was using the gullibility of the people to pretend as though this God of Israel was the one who was giving all this instruction and the one who does that call me? As though he was this God of Israel was the one who was giving him all these instructions, and that's what he was going by. All right? Fast forward. The few people who had survived the onslaught and had run away to neighboring countries, even they, Jeremiah continued to bamboozle to say God wants to kill them. You all remember the people asked him, after the city had been burnt and destroyed, the people asked him, listen, ask God for us what he wants us to do, because we'd really love to come back to rebuild Israel. So what does he want us to do? And Jeremiah took 10 days. Jeremiah took 10 days to tell the people, oh, God say if they go down to Israel, not to Israel, if they go down to Egypt, he's still going to follow them there with destruction. He's still going to, the same thing that they're running away from in Israel, he's going to destroy them there with famine and pestilence and the sword. And my question is just like, Why would it be that this God would consistently stalk the people that he say are his people, but he consistently stalk them to slay them, not to redeem them now, but to get rid of them? That I find to be problematic. But according to Jeremiah, he said that's what God told him. So he continues to go around and they continue to conquer all these other countries round about in the name of this God for the growth of Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. But let's fast forward to later on. You all realize that close to the end, that around in chapter 50, where he says Babylon is also going to be destroyed, and all the people who had taken the Israelites are going to be destroyed. Right there, I find that as well to be very, very, very problematic, because here Jeremiah is essentially telling us that it was a trick, that he had tricked the Babylonians into believing that this Israeli God was on their side and had caused them to destroy Israel. But now this God of Israel was destroying Babylon. And I'm like, is it that God can't make up his mind, or is God engaging in this kind of trickery? And that wouldn't make for a good God, would it? If it's somebody who has the mentality of a child, he's just acting like a petulant child. You don't obey me, I kill you. I don't get what I want, I kill you. I am not. Yeah, you got to do what I say. And if you don't, I'm going to connive. I'm going to deceive. I'm going to betray you and lead you into a trap. Yeah. Does that sound godly to you? And then in the end, it's a cloudy morning, guys. So no sun not coming up, because it's. Let me show you all what outside looks. Hold on. See that? Yeah, so it's cloudy and cold, so the sun not coming up this morning. So let us see. Where's the deception? Yes, the deception and the betrayal. It is so cold. The deception and the betrayal, I tell you. And then in the end, in chapter 50 as well, you hear Jeremiah say, after they read this book, he had written a book about all these events that occurred, all that God had told him during this time. And he says, after they had read this book, that yeah, I'm on the talk. I'm right here. Am I not showing over there? I'm sure I'm showing. I see Poochie. I see the people over there. Yeah, I'm on the talk. Yeah. And then in chapter 50, Jeremiah says, people, after they have read his book, they should tie a stone to it and throw it in the river Euphrates. Now you all tell me, if Jeremiah was as positively influential as many believe him to have been, and if all these things that Jeremiah said were told to him by this God, why would Jeremiah? Yes, I'm on TikTok, my love. Thank you, Poochie, because they're telling me over on the two that they can't see me over there. Yeah. So if what Jeremiah claimed that God had told him was in fact true, and he could stand 10 toes down, and all these things that he said God told him over these many years, why would he not want his writings to remain, so that they could influence future generations. Why would he not? Jeremiah said they should, after they had read it, they should tie a stone to the book he had written and throw it in the river Euphrates. And I find that to be quite problematic. And it's stuff like that that tells me that Jeremiah was a fraud. He was. You don't have to agree with me. That is perfectly fine. But I stand 10 toes down because of what I have read in the same Bible. Okay? So we are going to be moving right along. We are going to be reading the Lamentation, because you know the Lamentation is Jeremiah, is Jeremiah as well. Hold on, let me get a little bit of light, because hold on. I have one lamp light here, so listen, that is a great question. Oh, that's too much light now in my face. Hold on there. The light right there, so. Is that better? It's still shining in my face, right? But anyway. So somebody asked, so how did we get this book? I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't throw it in the river Euphrates after all. So, listen, there are so many questions. No, satellite is too bright in my eye. Hold on. Oh, God, but now the place is too dark for me to read. Good Jesus. Anyway. Oh, God, it's light too bright in my eye. Anyway. All right, we're going to work with what we have. That is a great question, guys. Somebody is asking if Jeremiah had asked the people after they read the book was to throw the book in the river Euphrates, how comes we get this book? That is a great question. A great, great question. I don't know. Bucci, I don't know. I can't answer you. All I can say is chances are they didn't listen to him. Chances are they didn't throw the book. They didn't throw the book in the Euphrates as he had requested. That's all I can say. But this morning we are going to be reading. This morning we're going to be reading from Lamentation, because you see the Lamentation is also from Jeremiah. It's not too long. I think it has maybe like, let me see, maybe five chapters, I believe. Yeah, 5 chapters it has. So we are going to read those 5 chapters and let's see how well we can tie it in with what Jeremiah said in the whole book, in the whole 52 chapters of the book of Jeremiah. All right, somebody says, to me, Jeremiah distinguished a psychopathic behavior towards mankind. I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. Jeremiah was very self-serving. Anything that is going to benefit him, that's where he swayed. Remember, he said, God told him, that all the words that he was going to tell to the children of Israel, God himself was going to put them in his mouth. Remember, he said God touched his mouth and said he put all the words in his mouth. So when he would say that to the people, don't you think that would sort of force the people to believe him? That, wow, he was so special. God touched his mouth and put all those words in his mouth. So that would have bamboozled the people into believing him. And then, as he went along, you notice that he kept telling the people, this is happening to them because of them. He kept gaslighting the people all the way. Yes, this is happening to them because they went and worshipped Baal. Yeah, this is happening to them because they turned their backs on their God. Yes, this is happening to you. So it's like all along he kept blaming the people for their dire circumstances, when this God that he's saying is the person responsible for causing all of this destruction on the people, also had the ability to forgive them and to not cause all this destruction. But he kept saying to the people, you all have made God so mad. You have made God so mad that God has forgotten how to be kind and graceful and forgiving. That means humans have the power then, right? Because if the people had enough power to influence what God does, that means God will not have as much power as we would believe he has, right? I'm just being practical here. Because if he has the power and he can control his emotions and he can control what he does to people, then what they do shouldn't matter because he is in control. But clearly, according to Jeremiah, he wasn't in control. His control was to destroy. He was in destructive control, if anything. He lacks empathy towards those people. Yes, Jeremiah had absolutely no empathy towards those people. All Jeremiah wanted was what he could get out of the destruction of the people. Jeremiah was very happy that Nebuchadnezzar had given him all these victuals and all these rewards. Of course, yes, he was happy. Of course, yes. And in the end, after he had gotten everything and he had gotten the protection from Nebuchadnezzar and he could get any land he wanted in Israel, he could get any vineyard, anything he wanted. I believe Jeremiah also had eyes on the other countries. The other countries around, Moab and Ammon and North and all those other countries around, he had eyes on something that they had as well. Because remember, Nebuchadnezzar said he can get anything he wants. So if Nebuchadnezzar says, you all must give Jeremiah anything he wants, and Jeremiah look over on the country of Moab and say, you see over Moab there, so them have some nice land over there. Yeah, man, them have some nice vineyards over there. But could I do well with two of them there. So you what me I gonna tell them, say, God say, we must go over Moab, go tear it down, because guess what? Moab is one of those countries that has never gone into slavery. Its people has never been overrun by another country. They always have peace. They don't have that in their history, where their country men have been taken into slavery and another country has come up and conquered them. So you what? Them have some nice land over them. What? We could have take 2 years of that. So Jeremiah said, God said they must go devour Moab. Go destroy Moab. Go burn it down and give it to Nebuchadnezzar. And all those other little countries around. No, Jeremiah, I believe, was on a power trip. Jeremiah couldn't be satisfied. He was determined. He was determined that he was going to get as much out of this as was possible. That's what I believe based on what I have read. Because even when the people were dead and dying and down and destitute and desperate, Jeremiah was still pounding on them in the name of God. But let us continue. Let us continue. We're going to read Lamentation, people. It's Wednesday. I got a million things to do, but I got to do this first. All right. So if you're not having a Bible, to follow along, okay? Thank you so much, Poochie. I appreciate you, lovely. Yeah, you all are welcome to follow along with me in the Bible as we read the book of Lamentation. The Lamentations of Jeremiah. Make we hear what Jeremiah lamenting about. How doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations and princess among the provinces, how is she become tributary? She weeps sore in the night. and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she hath none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwells among the heathen. She finds no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. Now he's sort of personifying Judah, the city of Judah, and all the people who have been destroyed, all the people of Judah who have been taken into captivity into Babylon. And here he's lamenting, how did this happen to Judah? How did all it is looking at Judah as a woman? How did all this happen to her? All of her lovers, that's all the people who loved living there, who loved being there, all of them, there is no one there now to comfort her. No one to tend to what's going on in Judah. Judah has been destroyed. He continues by saying, the ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feasts. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Her adversaries are the chief, her enemies prosper, for the Lord hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy, and from the daughter of Zion all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversaries saw her and did mock at her Sabbaths. All right. Let's continue. Verse 8. Jerusalem hath grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. Yea, she sighs and turns backwards. Tafar, good morning. How are you? Morning, Anake. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembered not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy hath magnified himself. The adversary hath spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she hath seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. All her people sigh, they seek bread. They have given their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. See, O Lord, and consider, for I am become vile. It is nothing to you, all ye that pass by. Is it nothing to you, all ye that pass by? Behold, and see if there be any sorrow like unto my sorrow, which is done unto me, wherewith the Lord afflicted me in the day of his fierce anger. From above hath he sent fire into my bones, and it prevaileth against them. He hath spread a net for my feet. He hath turned me back. He hath made me desolate and faint all the day. The yoke of my transgressions is bound by his hand. They are wreathed and come up upon my neck. He hath made my strength fall. The Lord hath delivered me into their hands, from whom I am not able to rise up. The Lord hath trodden under feet all of my mighty men in the midst of me. He hath called an assembly against me to crush my young men. The Lord hath trodden the virgin, the daughter of Judah, as in a winepress. For these things I weep. My eyes runneth down with water, because the Comforter that should relieve my soul is far from me. My children are desolate, because the enemy prevailed. Zion spreads forth hi- Zion spreads forth her hands, and there is comforter. The Lord said concerning Jacob that his adversaries should be round about him. Jerusalem is as a menstruous woman among them. The Lord is righteous, for I have rebelled against his commandment. Hear, I pray you, all people, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity. Now, this lamentation here is it's the personification of Judah. All right, I just want you all to understand that. It's as though the land is speaking. Okay? All right. Jeremiah is writing it as though the land is speaking. Good. Let us move right along. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. My priests and my elders gave up the ghost in the city, while they sought their meat to relieve their souls. Behold, O Lord, for I am in distress. My bowels are troubled. My heart is turned within me, for I have previously rebelled. Abroad I previously rebelled. Abroad the sore bereaves. At home there is as death. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. How and why Jeremiah wrote this in the name of Judah, as though Judah was a person, how he personifies Judah is beyond me. Somebody says Jeremiah had eyes on prizes of power and authority through this destruction of many nations and cities. Perfectly. Yeah, Jesus, me cool bump. Yes, Jeremiah had eyes on building himself an empire. Yeah, and that was his whole intention. Because remember, Jeremiah was a little mendicant, a little beggar, a little poor boy. Jeremiah didn't have anything. Yeah. So this was his way of bamboozling his way into having what he never had before. hmm Just like how them pastors here nowadays lock them doors. I say close them doors and nobody gets out of here until I get this $40,000. The same kind of mentality. hmm The same kind of mentality. Jeremiah Jeremiah was a slick one, if anything. If you ask me, Jeremiah, he was similar to these modern day pastors. Where you say, why did he or why didn't he? What do you mean? Jesus, me cold. Should I put on a sweater? But I should put on a sweater, right? To make my presence more aesthetically pleasing. But it is what it is. What do you say? You say why didn't he though, or why did he do it? Respond again. Let me see. What you wrote just now, is that what you wanted to ask? Why didn't he? Or why did he do what he did? Why didn't he do what? Hmm? Why didn't he do what? I was waiting for a response here. Oh, why didn't he build an empire? Well, that too is a good question. I think he had enough power and authority though that he would not have had otherwise. Because remember, after Nebuchadnezzar said Gedaliah should give him whatever he wants, and they put up this permanent protection of soldiers around him, he felt invincible. Now, nobody was going to touch him. He could have anything he wants. He could have any vineyard he wanted. And I believe he wanted more than he could get. Because remember, Jerusalem was burnt. So maybe if there was anything that he wanted there, he probably was going to have to settle for some land that was already burnt down, some place that was already destroyed. So I don't think he wanted that. I think he was looking afar off, and he was seeing these other countries around that had prime real estate that he wanted. So now he had to go to another route. God says these countries need to hand over themselves to Nebuchadnezzar, because he knows once Nebuchadnezzar has these countries, then he can get whatever he wants out of it. That's just how I interpret it based on what I'm reading here. Because if you tell me, listen, Trev, you can get anything you want in Florida. And I know that the governor is already on my side. But Florida is wasteland. It is like all of the Everglades where all these animals are and stuff. And I ain't got no use for it. What am I gonna do out there? Go out there, go let a bear eat me? What am I gonna do? I don't want this. But when I look over in Georgia, when I go to North Florida and look over in Georgia, I see, prime real estate over there. I see nice stuff over there. Like, you know what? I could use over here, but over here is not under Florida governor's authority. But I could use over here. So I just use the same strategy, and I say, you know what? People of Georgia, governor of Georgia, the Lord say, all of this belongs to him. So you need to hand over Georgia to the Florida governor. And once that has happened, I know now I can just move into Georgia and take whatever I want. I think that's what Jeremiah was doing. And I think that's a plausible way to look at it. I'm sure you all might have other ideas, because mine is not the all say all be all, but that's just how I think it happened. Because if God wanted to destroy only Jerusalem and Judah, only Israel, why then would he afterwards tell Jeremiah he wanted all those other countries? What would the benefits of him wanting those countries to go to Nebuchadnezzar be? It's not like God said he wanted them to be part of Israel. He said he wanted them to be under Nebuchadnezzar's control, just like how Israel was now under his control. That's my view. That's my point. But let us move right along. Now we are moving on to Lamentation chapter 2. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud of his anger, and, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and hath not pitied. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. He hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horns of Israel. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burnt against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devours round about. He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary, and slew all that were pleasant to the eyes in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. The Lord was as an enemy. He hath swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds, and hath increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. And he hath violently taken away his tabernacle, as if it were of a garden. He hath destroyed his places of the assembly. The Lord hath caused the solemn feasts and Sabbaths to be forgotten in Zion, and hath despised in the indignations of his anger the king and the priests. Somebody says here, I think Jeremiah wanted to be recognized as a yes within the regions of kings. That's what I said. He had these ideas of grandeur, and he wanted to make himself so important that he would do just about anything. He wanted to be respected among the people. He wanted to be considered to be somebody mighty and powerful. And that is why, if you notice, everybody who questioned Jeremiah end up dying, and Jeremiah say, oh, is God kill them, because how dare they question him? Jeremiah said, how dare y'all question me? Remember when the people told him that they don't like it, they don't like the things that he says. After he had told them, he took 10 days to come back to them to tell them what God says. And the people say, we don't trust that. We don't trust that. Like, what are we supposed to go back to Judah, to Jerusalem, to go live on? The place is burnt down. The place is destroyed. There is nothing there. What, we go live in ashes? There is nothing there. And Jeremiah is going to come back and say, oh, God says wherever they go, if they go to Egypt to escape his wrath in Israel, he's going to follow them there, and he's going to slay them by famine, by pestilence, and by the sword. The people say, we're not business, At this point, we're not business. At Egypt, we are go. Because down there is peace and there is prosperity. And we don't have to worry about somebody coming to burn down our house at night. And we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So Egypt is where we're going. And Jeremiah still plague the people them. I just say, oh, God same if you put stone at the Pharaoh's door and all of this foolishness. And how Nebuchadnezzar they go come and destroy the Pharaoh and the people were fed up. They were angry. Like, give us a break, man. It's just a few of us left here. It's not like a whole lot of us. We are scattered all over the place because we are trying to run away from this wrath. And yet still, everywhere we go, try to follow us with this wrath. It's just too much. But let us continue. Jeremiah was getting the respect he desired. He still wanted more because he couldn't be satisfied. He still wanted more. But let us continue. The Lord hath cast off his altar, he hath abhorred his sanctuary, he hath given up into the into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as in the day of a solemn feast. Now, let me ask you something. Do you all find it to be problematic that this God, Jesus, me cold, but me can't lock the window because some me get cold and some me get hot. So me really need the cold breeze. It's 34 degrees. Yeah. But let me ask you all this. Do you all find it concerning that this same God of Israel would hear Jeremiah say, he has destroyed his Sabbaths. You know what that means, right? You know how important the Sabbath has been for the Jews. When he says he has destroyed the Sabbath, it doesn't mean that he has abolished or abandoned the Sabbath. It means that because of what he has done to Israel, there is nobody there to worship. There's nobody there to continue with worshiping on the Sabbath. Because all these people are now gone down to Babylon where they don't observe Sabbath. So that is why he says God has destroyed his Sabbath. Now, why would God destroy his own Sabbath? Why would you all remember how important, like, the Ark of the Covenant was? You all remember when we read about them riding in that chariot carrying the Ark of the Covenant, and what was the name of that guy? The covenant rocked because of the rocky road, and so the chariot rocked, and the guy tried to hold on to the covenant to make sure it didn't fall over and break, and God struck him dead just for touching the covenant. And he didn't just touch it, he was protecting it from falling. That's how the Bible portrays God to be so serious about this covenant. But yet, he was so angry, he was willing to send fire into Israel to burn up all the sacred things. Really? God never remembered that the covenant was important. Like, seriously? He didn't remember that his Sabbath that he gave to Moses was important. He didn't remember that when he sent, how comes it didn't come to God's mind that when he allowed the enemy Nebuchadnezzar to come up and to take all these people into Babylon, that these people were not going to be worshiping him? He never called to mind about that. So I tell you what, that these stories, you cannot read them one verse by one. No, you can't. You have to read the stories in their entirety for you to get the gist of what he's saying, because you got to get context about what is being said here and pick sense out of nonsense. Because why would God suddenly want to destroy all these sacred things that were sacred for him? And he's allowing the enemy to destroy them. Why? His Sabbath? Remember how Moses talked about his Sabbath? Where you can do nothing at all on the Sabbath? But now there is nobody in Israel to worship the Sabbath, to worship on the Sabbath, to maintain the Sabbath. You don't see nothing wrong with that. Me no want to see nothing wrong with it. Me see what things wrong with it. But let me continue. Verse 8, he says, "The Lord hath purposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He hath stretched out a line. He hath not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore he made the rampart and the wall to lament. They languish together. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He hath destroyed and broken her." Let us continue. He had broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. The law is no more. Her prophets also find no vision from the Lord. The laws that existed in Judah are no more because there is nobody there to obey them. There's nobody there to live by them. So they are essentially dead. They don't exist, those laws. Because the laws are only good if there are people to maintain them, right? But there's nobody left in Judah. Very interesting, huh? And when we say Judah and Jerusalem, they go simultaneously. So when I say Israel, it's like Israel. Saying Israel covers them all. But let us continue. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He hath destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. The law is no more. Her prophets also find no vision from the Lord. The elders of the daughter of Zion sit upon the ground and keep silence. They have cast up dust upon their heads. They have girded themselves with sackcloth. The virgins of Jerusalem hang down their heads to the ground. Mine eyes do fall with tears. My bowels are troubled. My liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children of the sucklings swoon in the streets of the city. They say to their mothers, where is corn and wine? When they swooned as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their soul was poured out into their mother's bosom. What thing shall I take to witness for thee? What thing shall I liken to thee, O daughter of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For thy breach is great like the sea. Who can heal thee? Oopsie daisy. Verse 14. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity, to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and they wag their head at daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this city that men call perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Ha! Ha! Wanna hear that? Right. So here Jeremiah is saying the way Israel is at this moment, the way it is destitute, the way there is nobody there, it is broken down, all the holy buildings, everything is destroyed and burnt, and the people are gone. Now the people round about are mocking Israel. They're passing by and shaking their heads like, is this the place that they say was going to be the most beautiful in the world? Is this the place they say was God's place on earth? Look at it. I'm sure the people around had a lot of questions, like, because remember, Israel's presence was considered to be the most respected. The people round about, all they could hear every day is how the Israelites had their God upon this pedestal and how they were the chosen and their God looks out for them and they are entitled to just about everything that is good in this world. They were the center of attraction. Everybody looked at them as, well, them at the top of Norris round here. They get the favor of the God who creates heaven and earth. Yeah. And then now imagine that after all that, they are now destroyed, and it is being said that they have been destroyed by this same God. Imagine the unbelievers shaking their heads and saying, Mighty God, look at that. Look at them. Who would have thought? If anybody was going to be destroyed, it would have been us, because we don't believe, we don't follow their doctrine, and we are considered to be outcasts from all the grace of this God. But look who has been destroyed. So the people, them, the outsiders, the other people were sort of mocking Israel. But let us continue. I'm going to read it again, and this is chapter 2 of verse 15 of the Lamentations. He says, All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at thee, at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and they gnash their teeth. They say, We have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we looked forward to. We have found, we have seen it. So, when people sit down a plan for your destruction, can't wait to see your destruction, and then now here comes the destruction, how they are delighted. That's how the people were delighted at the destruction of Israel. The Lord hath done that which he hath devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he hath commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and hath not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. Their heart cried unto the Lord, O wall of the daughter of Zion. Let tears run down like a river day and night. Give thyself no rest. Let not the apple of thine eye cease. Arise, cry out in the night. In the beginning of the watches, pour out thine heart like water before the face of the Lord. Lift up thy hands towards him for the life of thy young children that faint for hunger in the top of every street. Behold, O Lord, and consider to whom thou hast done this. Shall the woman eat their fruit, and the children of a span long? Can the priest and the prophet be slain in the sanctuary of the Lord? The young and the old lie on the ground in the streets. My virgins and my young men are fallen by the sword. Thou hast slain them in the day of things, in the day of thine anger. Thou hast killed, and you have not pitied. Thou hast called as in the solemn day my terrors round about, so that in the day of the Lord's anger none escaped nor remained. Those that I have swaddled and brought up hath mine enemy consumed. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? The people round about Israel are celebrating as Israel is lamenting. But here, the author is personifying Israel as though the land itself is speaking about all the atrocities that it has experienced at the hand of its own God. I don't know about you, but I don't know what is inspiring about something like this. I don't know. I don't know if I was a preacher and I wanted to tell people to come to this God, I would have to bamboozle them like Jeremiah. Yeah, I would have to have them believe that they are such bad people that they have committed so many atrocities against this God that they are responsible for whatever this God is going to do to them, or is doing to them, or has done to them. Because there is no way I could present this to well-thinking people and say these scriptures are what I'm going to use to convince you that you need to come into this fold. I don't think so. And that is why when y'all go to church, Jesus, it cold. That is why when you all go to church, your pastor is not going to be preaching a whole book of the Bible at once. It is up to you to go ahead and read it for yourself, because you have to have read the entire story of Jeremiah for you to be able to ask relevant questions. If you only listen to what the pastor says when he says Jeremiah was the greatest prophet, God said to Jeremiah, I know you from before you were formed in your mother's womb. God put his own words in Jeremiah's mouth. If you only live by those pieces of scripture, you're being led astray. I'm telling you. Did I stutter? You're being led astray. Pastor certainly don't want you to read the entire book of Jeremiah, because he don't want to have to answer your questions about it. Because if he has to answer your questions about it, he's not going to be able to answer it without gaslighting you. And if you pick up on him gaslighting you and you say, well, this is what I see that is happening, it's like psychological warfare here, then he's going to tell you that you're a heathen, you are blaspheming, you need to go pray to God and go ask him to help you because you need help. That's what he could tell you. Believe me when I say this. Let us move on. Thank you, Pochi. Let us move right along to Lamentation chapter 3. Lamentation chapter 3. Jesus, be cold. It is so cold, but I need my hand. All right. Anyway. Okay, we can make it just look like one shawl, right? All right, let us continue. Chapter 3 says, I am the man that has seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. Yes, you have, Jeremiah. I am the man that hath seen afflictions by the rod of his wrath. He hath led me and brought me into darkness, but not into light. You're right about that, Jeremiah. You brought me into darkness, but not into light. Surely against me is he turned. He turned his hand against me all the day. My flesh and my skin hath he made old. He hath broken my bones. He hath built against me, and compassed me with gall and travail. He hath set me in dark places, as they that be dead of old. He hath hedged me about, that I cannot get out. He hath made my chain heavy. Also, when I cry and shout, he shuts out my prayer. He hath enclosed my ways with hewn stones. He hath made my path crooked. He was unto me as a bear lying in wait, and as a lion in secret places. He hath turned aside my ways, and pulled me to pieces. He hath made me desolate. He hath bent his bow and sent me as a mark for the arrow. He hath caused the arrows of his quiver to enter into my reins. I was a derision to all my people, and their song all the day. He hath filled me with bitterness. He hath made me drunken with wormwood. He hath made me drunken with wormwood. He hath also broken my teeth with gravel stones. He hath covered me with ashes. And thou hast removed my soul far off from peace. I forgot prosperity. And I said, my strength and my hope is perished from the Lord. Remembering mine affliction and my misery, the wormwood and the gall, my soul hath them still in remembrance, and is humbled in me. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. Wait a minute now. His compassion fail not. His compassion fail not. Not after he just destroyed a whole city. Been so mad that he even destroyed the Sabbath, because there's nobody there to worship on the Sabbath, to keep the Sabbath. So essentially, there's no Sabbath being kept. He's not mad about that. All of a sudden now he's off come. Is Morrissey's where say is Morris Caesar new every morning and read is fit for. Look over what you have written and let me see if that's exactly what you want to say. His mercies are renewed every morning. Great. That's the same thing that came to my mind, Morning by morning, new mercies I see. That came to my mind too. Yeah, like, how is it that this is the same God what just destroyed Israel just because he has been so angry? And all of a sudden it turns now. And he writes, Jeremiah writes, he says, my soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. It is of the Lord's mercy that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. Thou changest not, thy compassion, they fail not. Great is thy faithfulness. Okay, let us continue. Be yourself. Let us continue. He says, it is of the Lord's mercy that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore will I hope in him. The Lord is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeks him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. He sits alone and keeps silence, because he hath borne it upon him. He puts his mouth in the dust. If so be, there may be hope. He gives his cheek to him that smite him. He is filled full with reproach. For the Lord will not cast off forever, but though he causes grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. So, okay. So he causes grief. He will give you grief, but just remember that he also has compassion. He has so much grief that he can cause to you, but at the same time, he has so much compassion that he will also bestow on you. And my question is, if he has all this compassion, why then all this grief? And some of you are going to say, oh, Trev, it's got to be balanced. Why do you have to make me suffer if you have the ability to ensure that I don't? What is it? Is it an ego trip that after I'm suffering, you want me to come back and to beg for the little mercy? What do you all think? That's just how I feel. I think there is more ego here than compassion. Why would you cause your child pain and suffering? Like, you have the ability. Let me just use an example. You have a child. This child is gone out on their own. This child is probably, maybe not too down on their luck, but they kind of have a little bit of maybe low credit, kind of having a little bit of problem paying credit card bills and whatever. You are okay financially, and if your child falls in a rut, you are able to help them. But you don't think your child is falling in a rut enough to come to you to beg you for a bailout. So what do? At night when your child is gone to bed, you cover your head in a mask and you go over there and you puncture her tires. And you go back home and you sit down and you wait for her to call you and say, Mama, this is the 4th time that my tires have been slashed. I've replaced them 4 times already, and now I'm dead broke. I can't replace them anymore. Just so your ego, so that you can feel good about your little self, and you can go over and say, honey, I'm coming over to rescue you. Do. You go over to rescue her. You go over to give her some money to go buy the tire. And then you pat yourself on the shoulder and say, well, yeah, I just did a great deed for my daughter. Now, let me go sit back and wait for her to call me again. And when she doesn't call you again fast enough, you do something again to her to ensure that she calls you. What kind of cycle is that? And this is what I see happening here. And I don't see why a God, any God, would have that kind of mentality. But that's exactly what I'm reading here. But let us continue. He said, he puts his mouth in the dust. If so be, there may be hope. He gives his cheek to him that smiteth him. He is filled full with reproach. For the Lord will not cast off forever. But though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. For he doth not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men, to crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause. The Lord approveth not. Who is he that saith, and it comes to pass, when the Lord commandeth it not? Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good? That's a question. Doth evil and good not come out of the mouth of the Most High? Let us search and try our ways, and turn again to the Lord. Let us lift up our hearts with our hands unto God in the heavens. We have transgressed and have rebelled. Thou hast not pardoned. Thou hast covered with anger and persecuted us. Thou hast slain. Thou hast not pitied. Thou hast covered thyself with a cloud, that our prayer should not pass through. Huh? Huh? Want to hear that? Thou hast covered thyself with a cloud, so that our prayers may not pass through. This same God, I don't want to hear on the prayers. I don't want to hear nothing from y'all. Don't come to me for mercy. Don't come to me for grace. I am so mad. That's like a petulant child. Like, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I said what I said. I don't find nothing concerning about that. I have been reading the Bible. I'm here telling you, say, I have seen more hate than love. I have seen more destruction than building. I have seen nothing but hatred more than any love. And then here comes the gaslighting. Let us continue. He says, who is he that saith, and it comes to pass, when the Lord commanded it not? Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good? Wherefore does a living man complain? A man for the punishment of his sins? Right, so don't complain because you sinned, so this is your punishment. Just lay down and take it. Let us search and try our ways and turn again to the Lord. Let us lift up our heart with our hands unto God in the heavens. We have transgressed and have rebelled. Thou hast not pardoned. Thou hast covered with anger and persecuted us. Thou hast slain. Thou hast not pitied. Thou hast covered thyself with a cloud, that our prayers should not pass through. Thou hast made us as the offscouring and refuse in the midst of the people. All our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Next line, what's up? Good morning. Morning, Diane. Let us continue. Fear and a snare is come upon us, desolation and destruction. Mine eye runs down with rivers of water for the destruction of the daughter of my people. Mine eye trickleth down and ceases not without any intermission, till the Lord look down and behold from heaven. Mine eye affects mine heart because of all the daughters of my city. My enemies chase me sore, like a bird without cause. They have cut off my life in the dungeon, and cast a stone upon me. Waters flowed over my head. Then I said, I am cut off. I called upon thy name, O Lord, out of the low dungeon. Thou hast heard my voice. Hide not thine ear at my breathing, at my cry. Thou drewest near in the day that I called upon thee. Thou saidst, fear not. O Lord, thou hast pleaded the causes of my soul. Thou hast redeemed my life. O Lord, thou hast seen my wrong. Judge thou my cause. Thou hast seen all their vengeance and all their imaginations against me. Thou hast heard their reproach, O Lord, and all their imaginations against me. The lips of those that rose up against me, and their devices against me all the day. Behold, their sitting down and their rising up I am their music. Render unto them a recompense, O Lord, according to the work of their hands. Give them sorrow of heart, thy curse unto them. Persecute and destroy them in anger from under the heavens of the Lord. You see, my friends, you see, whenever you have a discussion with a Christian and they say to you, God is going to show you something, God is going to destroy you, this is the same kind of language. This is the same kind of language. And the Bible them get it from. The Bible them get it from. You're going to be destroyed. God is so angry at you. He's not going to graciously turn you away from whatever thoughts you have that he might deem to be incorrect. That's not what he's going to do. He's going to strike you. He's going to strike you with sickness and death. His way of letting you know that he mean business is to kill you. Yeah. And the Bible says son of me. Yeah. And I know many of you don't find that to be a problem, but I do. I do. Because I don't know what you all want me to do. You all want me to just accept that if I do something that is considered to be quote unquote wrong, then there's going to be no redemption for me. The only thing I'm going to get is death. Jesus, it's 34 degrees. Somebody says, strike. Like Paula White. Yeah, you are right, my love. Like Paula White. Strike, 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 strike. Are your angels coming from Africa? Strike. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of language. There's no redemption. There is no grace. It is just death and destruction for you if you don't believe, if you don't submit. It is I mean, I know where this strike have come from Africa. She's another one. She's another one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, guys. So that right there, it's as though it is as though the author here writing in the personification of Judah is like saying, well, I have done this, I have transgressed, so I deserve to be destroyed by the same God who will give me measures and measures and measures of grace, of love, of compassion. But I deserve to be struck down. I deserve to be beaten down into the ground to death because I transgressed. Why you don't say, well, I deserve some forgiveness. I deserve a different mindset. I deserve, since he has control over my mind, I deserve for him to reconstruct my mind, to make me think differently so that I can act differently in accordance with what he wants me to do. How comes we not hear that? Because he got the power, right? He got the power to change your mind. So how comes he's not changing your mind? He changed your mind about everything else, but he's not changing your mind about him. Because he wants you to constantly sin so he can constantly punish you. If he don't get to exercise his ability to punish you, you realize that you ain't worth nothing to him. If he can't punish you, if he can beat you to death, if he can destroy you, that to me is a problem. But I'm going to continue reading because remember, I'm reading what is in the Bible and I'm a make up story. Okay? Which brings the mind. All right. Somebody says, which brings me to mind for James 3, verse 11. What James 3, verse 11 say? Hold on. Let me see. Let me go find James. How would you say I called me? Too early in the morning. Let me see where James then on in the Bible. Let me find James in the Bible, people. Remember? Behind, I think I'm behind Hebrews. Hold on, let me find Hebrews. La 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 la, go Philemon to the Hebrews. James. Okay, yeah. You know me, I have to always sing that song that you find the books of the Bible. I learned that song since I was as young as I can remember. I learned that song in church. The books of the Bible in order. And every time I gotta find a book in the Bible, I gotta sing a part of that song to find it. Where is it? James what? James 3 verse 11. Let me see what that say. James 3 verse 11. It does say something because me have it marked here. So it says, doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Ah, that is a great question. That is a great question. If it does, the water go brackish. I don't know. The fountain can't send out sweet water and bitter water at the same time because, of course, the bitter water is going to overwhelm the sweet water. So you got a great question there. Me no know. Me just read one of the Bible. Okay, that's all me doing. Let us read chapter 4. Chapter 4 says, how is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, compatible to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter? Even the sea monsters draw out the beast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness. The tongue of the sucking child cleaves to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask for bread, and no man breaks it unto them. They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. That means those who were brought up in abject poverty. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom. Oh, okay. Because remember, according to the Bible, God did punish Sodom and Gomorrah brutally with the fire that came down according to the Bible. But now here, the author is saying that Israel has been punished even worse than Sodom. Ain't that something? For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hands stayed on her. Right? So Sodom was just burnt down and that's it. But for Israel, it seems like the pounding is continuous, non-stop. It is continuous. It is from every angle. Let us continue. Her Nazarites Wait. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hands stayed on her. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered, it is withered, it is become like a stick. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. They that be slain with the sword are better than those who are slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through, for want of the fruits of the field. And you can see why he would say that, right? If you are slain by the sword, it's better than being slain by hunger. Because if you're slain by the sword, it's a quick death. Boom, doop, da, dead. But if you are slain by hunger, you suffer day after day, wanting to find something to quench your thirst, wanting to find a little morsel to put at your mouth. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Yeah. Moms become so desperate and so hungry, they can't find food to feed the children, so they cook the children. That's the destruction that this God has brought on his people out of his anger. Let us continue. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. The Lord hath accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger, and hath kindled a fire in Zion, and it hath devoured the foundations thereof. The kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. Of course they wouldn't believe it. They would not believe that this would have been brought on Jerusalem of all places. They wouldn't believe it. For the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her, they have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood, so that men could not touch their garments. They cried unto them, Depart ye, it is unclean. Depart, depart, touch not. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, They shall no more sojourn there. The anger, so much anger. Hold on, let me mark this. This is chapter 16. Somebody asked one question here. So, how does Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 38 align with James 3 verse 11? Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 38 says, Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good? That's a question. Does evil and good not come out of the mouth of the Most High? And James says, James come right after Hebrew. Hold on, there were Hebrew there. Okay, let me find. Let me find James. James 3 and verse 11. So James 3 and verse 11 said that a fountain sent forth at the same place sweet water and bitter. Oh, that's what I was talking about earlier. It can't send out sweet water and bitter water at the same time because they're going to be commingled. So the water is definitely not going to be sweet because the bitter is going to take it over. And in here it says, out of the mouth of the Lord comes not good and evil. Well, we have determined, we have seen where there is good and evil coming out of the mouth of the Lord. So are you saying that we can't have good without having bad? But remember, when we are talking about this good God, the expectations are different, don't you think? But when we read the Bible, we realize that if we have a preconception about how this God is supposed to be, how gracious and righteous and forgiving and kind and peaceful he's supposed to be, when we read the Bible, we realize that he's presented in anything but those ways. And here the author is saying he speaks good, he speaks evil. Of course, yes, he does. It's written right here. What am I saying? That we are getting both good and evil from the one person who is called God. That's exactly what I'm saying. We are getting good. He's saying God is being good to the people, but at the same time, he's saying this fury that God is unleashing on the people. But you see, he's accompanying that with the gaslighting of the people to say, well, God is always good. It's just you who is bad. It's you who does bad things that causes him to be bad. That causes him to react in a negative way. He's not saying, oh, what am I Monday? He's not saying, oh well, God is good and he's bad. He doesn't want to give God the blame for being bad. He want to blame the people for God destroying them. But then when he says God is good, oh yeah, God is all good. The same kind of gaslighting tactics. God is all good. Yeah. His mercy is everlasting. His grace, his peace, his love, all these things. But when he does evil, he says you are the one who causes him to be evil because he's punishing you. I mean, I like that. I mean, I like that. Jesus, oh God, make hold. You never see nobody can punish themselves like me? Look how me sit down there so at the 34-degree window. And I complain to me cold. So let us continue. He says, the anger of the Lord hath divided them. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priests. They favored not the elders. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. That could not save us. Hold up, backside. Hold on, look at me. I forgot to put one pen here, so for market. Yes, I'm going to go back to James 10. Oh, Jesus. All right, let me go back to James 10. James, the way around here, so. James 10, Peter. Yes, I go back to James 3. Let me put the pen here, so that's when I come back and find it. James 3 verse 10 say, out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and curse. Then I see him thing I say. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and curse. You come add something to it. Tell me. Jesus have mercy, me cold. Yeah.
Morning.
Morning, love bug. What's up?
So I'm saying that okay, going from verse 8 in James chapter 3, it says, "But the tongue can no man tame. It is unruly, evil, full of deadly poison, wherewith
bless we
bless
God.
we God, even the Father, with therewith, and therewith curse we men, which are made of the similitude
For the
of
smell.
God."
So
But
we
then it says, "Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be so."
but if
So if
but
James is saying here that it ought not to be so, but then we're seeing there in Lamentation and in Jeremiah that it is so.
it is so, but even right there where we just read, it says, as this multitude of God is the same way. The same way God mouth speak evil, it speak good. So if a man is saying it ought not to be so, how is he going to say it's not supposed to be so when this is the same thing that God is perpetuating? How? Who is he to say it ought not to be so? He's assessing the whole situation and saying, well, this not look good. This not look right.
Well, if it don't look good, then his
But
God don't look good.
exactly. But it is
That's
what
what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
It is what it is. And he's saying it don't look good, it don't look right. And at the same time, he's acknowledging that just like how God speaks good and speaks evil, the same way man speaks good and speaks evil. Out of the same mouth comes good and comes evil. So is it supposed to be a justification then in the lamentation? James has a question. James is worried about it, that it should not be so. But in the lamentation, there's a justification for it. Is that what that is?
It can't be because one comes before the other. The the justification in Lamentation. Is
Right.
that what you said?
Right. That in lamentation, there's a justification for the
Oh,
same
the
mouth speaking
justification
good
is
and
that
evil.
is because the people did evil.
That the people did evil, so it is justified
Yeah, but
that God
how do
has
you have
evil
the
against
how
them.
do you that seems that you have the power to manipulate God more.
Exactly what I said. Exactly. Like man has the power and not God. Because if you can influence what God thinks or what God does, then you have the power. He doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because he should be the one who is influencing you to do whatever he wants you to do.
Yeah, because I can easily provoke you.
Okay. Okay. That is exactly what I'm talking about. I just turn my back on you and provoke you, and you become so angry that you're gonna mash up everything. Not like one pity that in a one temper tantrum. Yeah, like no, it's true, people. It's true. I'm being rational here. I'm thinking with the brain that I got. If I can do things that is going to make you become so angry that you just are gonna get mad, and your anger, your fury, you're gonna broke up everything, you're gonna destroy the whole. That means I have control over you. You don't have control over your anger. And that is the point I've been trying to make. And that shouldn't be. Because I said I see more hatred than love around here in this Bible reading. I don't see grace and forgiveness around here. It's just this angry, angry God. This God is so angry, nothing and no one can stop him. He just destroy, and it seems that the only thing he has control over is destruction. Yeah, because most of what I see him doing here, he's just destroying people and property, left and right, right and left. He's just breaking down stuff, just burning stuff. But when it comes to giving grace, look here what we're reading in Lamentation here. The people be so hungry, they're eating the children. Where is he? To ensure these people don't have such hunger. But when the people disobey him with some frivolous stuff, his first response is to destroy them. Me I burn up everybody. But when they are hungry, he's nowhere to be found. And then the author here is going to say it would be better if they die by the sword than by hunger. Because if you die by the sword, the death is swift. And if you die of hunger, that means he's going to stand there and watch you thirst and watch your baby try to suck milk out of breasts that have not even powder.
So wait a minute. Where did it say that?
Let's go back in chapter 4. You want to go back from verse 6? You want to go back from verse 6 in chapter 4 of Lamentation? For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hands stayed on her. All right, Sodom was destroyed. It was just burned up one time. No hands stayed on her, so it was able to recover. So the punishment of Israel is worse than the punishment that Sodom received. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaves to their bones. It is withered. It is become like a stick. That means the people them are suffer. Poverty. They are poverty stricken. Their skin stick to their bones. They look like sticks.
Okay, where are you reading from?
That's Lamentation 4 verse 8.
4 and 8, okay.
It says their visage, that the look of them is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. I mean, nobody can recognize them, how puny they are, how bony they are. Their skin cleaves to their bones. It is withered. It is become like a stick. They that be slain with the sword. Now it's comparing the people who are dying of hunger to the people who die by the sword. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of a fruit of the field. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. Turn me off now, Mom. Turn me off now. Thank you. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. The Lord hath accomplished his fury. He has accomplished his fury by having these people starve to death. He has accomplished his fury. The Lord has accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger, and hath kindled a fire in Zion, and it hath devoured the foundation thereof. Jesus, be cool. The king, let me continue. The kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. All right, the world would never believe that this is what have become of Israel. For the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. They have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood, so that men could not touch their garments. They cried unto them, Depart ye, it is unclean. Depart, depart, touch not. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, They shall no more sojourn there. The anger of the Lord hath divided them. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priests. They devoured not they favored, I should say, they favored not the elders. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under his shadow we shall live among the heathen. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwell in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shall make thyself naked.
You know,
Is
you
this
know the other day somebody told you
mm,
that word. Somebody told you that the word Gentile was not
was not in the Old Testament?
Old Testament, but they don't understand that the word Gentile and heathen is the same thing,
Exactly. And we
right?
have read Gentile in the Old Testament so many
We
times.
did read
But
Old
that's
Testament,
how
right?
people sometimes, yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes people think they know, cause sometimes I know me say things when me think me did know, but me ain't really know, but me ain't know, so me ain't know. So so I just forgive that person. Cause that person thought he knew. He thought he
Yeah.
knew what he was talking about. And I was telling him that I'm sure, as somebody who have
Yeah.
read the Bible, that the Bible has mentioned Gentiles in the Old Testament. And he was adamant that it hadn't. So, but me just leave him
Yeah. Well,
alone.
it's like somebody saying, "I'm from the U.S." or "I'm from the United States of America." You're saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah.
Wait there. On hold on there before my phone lose charge and the live go to naught. On hold on there. Hold on there. Look like me just.
Gentile is mentioned a lot in I think in Isaiah.
Gentiles is mentioned too in Jeremiah, as we have read most recently. Hold on there. Let me
In
see.
Jeremiah.
Huh?
Also in the book that you read before.
Which one? It is mentioned several times in the
We was
Bible.
reading before you read
Before me read Jeremiah, me read
Songs of Solomon.
Songs of Solomon. Me read Job, then Songs of Solomon,
Yeah, I
then
think it was
Jeremiah
even read. Right.
was in there. So me continue now. He
Mention a
says,
lot. And then
the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. You hear that? The punishment of iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover
Vishal, daughter of Zion,
mm,
will no more carry thee
no more
into
into
captivity.
captivity.
He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. But
Mm,
what sin is there to discover? The reason why he's going to, I guess, Edom and to visit them is because of their sins. So what is there to
exactly.
discover?
So is it mentioning is this mentioning of Edom talking about the people who have escaped from Israel who have gone over to Edom? Because I don't think it is calling the Edomites to come now to come join with the Israelites. I don't think so.
No, because they're considered
Outcast, exactly. So Did Jeremiah take ownership of Edom? There's so much going on in my mind because he had Edom in his crosshairs as well, you know, when he was talking about in the reading yesterday, he was talking about all these lands that he was he had eyes on. So did he eventually conquer Edom? And now
He's
Edom
talk,
appears in his
he's
story?
talking about which came from Lot's daughters, Ammon and what's the
No,
other
that
one?
was Moab and Ammon.
Moab and Ammon,
Yeah,
right?
the Edomites are Esau.
Right.
The
And then
descend.
he mentioned Edom. He
Right.
mentioned
He
that he will
mentioned
go to
Moab,
destroy.
Ammonite, Edom. He also wanted Naph, Tehapanhes, Damascus. He wanted everywhere. He had eyes. He had eyes on all the countries around.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's true. It's true. You know, it's the same kind of behavior. Like you're just looking around. You're just looking around to see where you can cause more trouble. Like you can't be satisfied. You're just looking around to see what else you can conquer. It's like the same thing. But we're
Yep.
going to continue
That
reading. We're going to leave right there. So,
miserable soul.
eh?
I gotta be a miserable soul.
Oh, he was. Clearly, he was miserable. Jeremiah could find no peace. And if wickedness catch up with him, he could find no peace. Let's move on to Lamentation chapter 5. Now, this is the last reading for the day, for the morning. Yeah. Remember, O Lord, what is come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hands. We got our bread with the peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. Princes are hung up by their hand. The faces of elders were not honored. They took the young men to grind, and the children fell up under the wood. The elders have ceased from the gate, the young men from their music. Parties ceased. Our dances turned into mourning. The crown fallen from our head. Woe unto us that we have sinned. For this our heart is faint. For these things our eyes are dim. Because of the mountain of Zion, which is desolate, the foxes walk upon it. Thou, O Lord, remains forever, thy throne from generation to generation. Wherefore dost thou forget us forever and forsake us so long a time? Turn thou us unto thee, O Lord, and we shall be turned. Renew our days as of old. But thou hast utterly rejected us. Thou art very wroth against us. The people then realize that they can't, by their own hands, by their own determination, them not have the power to turn themselves around. Because if they did, they would. But since their God has the power to turn, I beg him, turn our minds so that we can do the right thing. But them a beg and plea, but it's not happening. Why you think God not using his superpowers to turn their minds towards him so they sin no more? Is it that he's enjoying the destruction of these people? He's in Jesus. Why you think, Miss Cad? Me don't know. I'm just asking because Jesus. This 34-degree wind is. Yes, I mean, if he, woo. Hold on there, man.
Well, you getting some Jeremiah right there?
Me say at 34 degrees. Me now pop the window, but me have to pull the curtain. Jeez, you peace. Yeah, man, keep up the window for me. All right, there we go.
I know back in Jeremiah 8:21. You mentioned something about I am black. In Lamentation that you read there.
Yeah.
I am black again.
Yes, but the blackness in Lamentation. The blackness in Lamentation that he's talking about is the lamenting of the people of how hungry they are. They have lost their color. It says it look like coal. That's because their skin is stuck to their bones. Nobody recognizes them. That's because of how skinny they are. They are basically skin and bones.
But go look in Jeremiah 8:21.
Okay, what was he talking about? What was the context of that blackness? Jeremiah 8 verse what?
21.
Alright, Jeremiah 8 verse 21. Jeremiah 8 and verse 21 say, For the hurt, Jeremiah 8 verse 21, for the hurt of the daughter of my people am I. Yeah, for the hurt of my people, hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt. I am black. Astonishment hath taken hold of me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered? For the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt. I am black. That negatively speaking about him being angry. I am black. He followed it up with saying,
I am saying,
astonishment hath taken a hold of me. He doesn't see contextually. It doesn't seem like he's saying, black as in his complexion.
Right. But that's why I'm saying he used this I am black
to describe his mood, I believe.
In a
whole different context, right. I think, to describe his mood, because he says he's astonished. He said, aren't there any doctors, any physicians there to take care of the daughters of my people? Yeah, so he's
none of these two times when he mentioned I am black is he talking about his complexion.
Right. In Lamentation, when he says about the black, he's describing how the people are starving. They're skinny. They're pure skin and bones. Right. And when you are skin and bones, your complexion do change. You do look gaudy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your skin doesn't have the rosy color as it usually would. All right. Red said no, not true. Talk to me, Red. Tell me what you say. We don't claim to be right, We can't claim to be thinking. So what do you say? You tell me, what is your thought on this? Because we not claim to have truth, you know. Because remember, there's nobody here alive that can claim any of this to be true. We just work with what we've been given. So your idea,
Explain.
yeah, your idea is just as valuable as ours. But you can't just say no, not true. So you know, have to give me something for work with. Okay. Or you say you can't, he's at work. You said no, he was referring to his skin. We are working with the context, my love. The context of what's happening there. We're not just working with skin. When he says I am black but I am comely, that's him referring to his complexion. Where he say, yeah, I am black but I am comely. Okay, when he referred in Lamentation to the skin being black like coal, he was referring to how skinny the people were because they were starving. Yes, the skin stuck to their bones. When he mentioned here that he is black, he's astonished, it means he's angry, he's upset. Are there no doctors here to take care of the daughters of my people? That is why we read with context. And you can't just read one verse and run away. You got to read the whole thing to get the context.
He probably is still talking about their them suffering and being like hunger there too, because he's talking about doctors.
The doctor, right, is right. So that too would seem like the state that his people are in, he's concerned. He needs a doctor. Where the doctor them there for come take care of these people? Yeah. Winsome, good morning, my love. How you doing? Winsome, we were here, reading the Lamentation as a follow-up to Jeremiah. But I appreciate your contribution, Red. I appreciate you. If you're at work, so if you were not at work, I would appreciate if you would.
You're not at work. If you have anything else to add to it, you can always come back on the channel.
You can always come back and tell me. And I appreciate when people respond because trust me, I don't know. I don't care to know. I don't swear that I know. Not that I don't care to know. I don't swear that I know. I don't know, and none of us do. But we are reading here to get an understanding. Yeah. Okay, my love. I appreciate you every time and anytime. Okay? All right, people. It is 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's my time to geo. All right, beautiful people. I want to say thanks to everybody who came into live. Winter, I just wake up. Well, the live is just about going to be over. We just finished reading the book of Lamentation. And when we come back tomorrow when we come back, it's going to be late. If I come back. If you don't see me tomorrow, I just saw. Because I'm working tonight. Tomorrow it's going to be late when I leave work. So y'all might see me, you might not. Kadoy.
Yeah.
I thought I had written down, somebody had suggested a book that we read, but I don't remember which book. Somebody had suggested, I think it was yesterday, or the day before, somebody suggested the next book that we read. We are going to go over, because we were talking about Nehemiah, and Nehemiah having come from King Artaxerxes, and I think that is over there in Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, yes, it's over there. So we're gonna go read over there. We're gonna read from the Kings and 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. Yeah, so we'll probably read the 2.
It's 3 that are synonymous with each other. I think it's Ezra, Nehemiah, something else.
Esther. I think the Chronicles. The Chronicles. Ezra, Nehemiah. Somewhere around there. But we're going to read it. We are going to read. AJ! Me say, hey G, you want to see how me sorrel them bust up? Lord of mercy, me go show you them. Me go show you them later. You want to see how them bust up? Lord of mercy, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get some sorrel. But see, you can't even count on the weather in North Carolina because, eh? Where's the can?
AG, how you sorry bust out there?
AG, AG, me didn't even show you how me sorry bust out. You're bad, you know. You're bad. Me know it to that sweet, yo. Me know it to that sweet, yo. Red. I can't with you, Angie. God, you need to be him. All right. Oh, my sorrel plants. I need to show you how my sorrel plants them Germany. My sorrel see them Germany. Yeah, may I show you how my sorrel them bust out. Later, me show you. They look so good in my garden. Yeah, may I start. You start planting up yet, Geji? I started planting. Me peas them. Me have peas that bust out. I planted some okra, but me not see them bust up yet. Me have pepper, onion, pumpkin. Well, me not plant the pumpkin them. Me not show you nothing. Go ahead. Me didn't plant the pumpkin them. The pumpkin them, I think them pop up from the compost. So I have whole heap of pumpkin and pepper and tomato. Those come up from the compost. But me plant 4 chocha. I'm going to show you my chocha later. Where's it, Andrea? Beautifully said about my crops. Yes. They say a frost is coming. Jesus have mercy. This morning is 34 degrees. Oh man, I don't want to happen to my plants them, you know. Before some carry a sheet out, they go cover them. Trust me. Because the sorrel. I can't bother with age. Yeah, I'm gonna show you my chocha them later. My chocha. Yeah, my plant 4 chocha. How long chocha come for come in?
I don't know, you know. I really don't know.
Anybody here? Andrea, how long chocha take for come in? It don't sound right, but what don't know me I talk about. AG, how long chocha take for come? That sound even worse. That's so
even talking about in your garden and all of that. What is this? You know, you don't like that at all.
How long chocha take for coming out of the garden? Andrea, you gotta help me out here. That don't sound right. I need appropriate words. What are you calling? Watch Andrea say if you change up the terminology. Me not know. I don't know. Y'all know. What? Yeah, the AG. AG said me need to put it in a water first. Me need to put my chocha in a water first. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Listen, my chocha them grow up and them have long stem. So I put them in the ground nice. No, so I done that chocho argument. I kind of sound too right. Tafari, what's up? It don't sound too right at all. Yeah, listen, me soak them in the water and then me plant them. Me have some tree where grow up on the back in the winter. I never cut them down because even though they make the backyard look kind of shaggy-ish, them serve purpose. Because me not have nothing to stake the chocha. So me plant the chocha them right at the root of those trees so they can grow up on it. Yeah, everything have them purpose. Me have to make it bust out first. Lady ramp with me. Yeah, all of them bust out and them start growing, them start have leaf and everything. So I put them in the ground. They start stretching up and a hold on
Don't
pan
go
stuff. Hmm? Wait a second.
don't go throw no don't go throw no sheet on them before you cover them from God's grace according to Jeremiah.
Oh,
Remember?
listen, I want them to survive the onslaught of Israel. I want them to survive. I don't want me have to go back to Jeremiah. I have to go wait 10 days for Jeremiah come back to do a cockadoodle story. So me have to go take good care of them. I went good question, AG. When is the next frost coming? Because right now it's 34 degrees. I mean also the plants them can't survive if it go to freezing. I mean your strawberries coming up yet? Oh my goodness, my strawberries are doing so. You see from the other day, Carol, you did it on the live the other day. When me throw out the strawberry them out of the pot, out of the big pot,
No.
we go exactly. Yeah, so I had some strawberries. Me have a of strawberry on the back. Because, I planted just a few and then send out little baby plants, So the pots get overcrowded. So,
Okay.
I had some parts where I planted sweet potato last season. So me clear them out. Me clear it out and put the strawberry. So that me not have to do much any digging to harvest them. I may have maybe
Okay.
30 plants. More than that. Me I gonna say maybe 50 plants of strawberry. But me have to go find a way now. Now that I've taken them
Oh,
out
that's a
of the
lot.
pots, almost every single one of them have at least one strawberry on it. But say as soon as
Oh, wow.
yes, Andrea, the strawberries are winter hardy because even throughout the winter they don't die. They stayed green. But me have to go find some way to cover them up because the bird, as soon as they start change color, the bird are gonna eat them. And me have to put the little plot that I used for my herbs. I had to use it now for strawberry, and the ones that I use for beans, me have to put strawberry in it because me not have no much space.
Hmm.
Me have space, but me have to go buy dirt. Me tired buy dirt. Me not buy no more dirt. Me say me I go buy one more batch. I'm going to buy 20 bags of what do you call that there? The topsoil. And maybe 4 bags of cow manure and that's it. Me not buy nothing else. Me not buy nothing else. Because me have two of the metal raised beds. Me put one together already. Me I go put the other one together and just line them with cardboard, put dirt in them, and plant some more stuff in them. But me don't know. I
How
will if
much
I
bags
work,
of
eh?
dirt does how much bags of dirt does it take to fill up the raised bed?
The
The
thing
metal
is,
thing.
at the bottom of the raised bed, me put the coconut ox them when me the ox out. Me full up the bottom of it with coconut ox, and then me have a whole heap of fennel plants that dry down over the winter. So me break down them the stick and fill it up with sticks, and then me fill it up with cardboard. So then
Okay.
it a go take me maybe just 5 bag of dirt to just cover over the cardboard. Because pretty soon the cardboard go and break down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Oh,
have you tried indoor planting seasonal girl, me not have nowhere inside put no plants. Me not have nowhere inside for put no plants. Cause me have to go put them in the go to Lowe's and buy the open bag them for 75% off. Oh yeah? Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Because even the 75% might make it even cheaper than Walmart. Even though I compare Lowe's and Walmart, I'm find say, even when I go to Lowe's and I get 10% off, me still is still more expensive than Walmart. So I just buy a Walmart and call it a day.
Really?
Cause me go a Lowe's and me buy the dirt, and the bag of dirt was like $5.
75% off. It's still
No, on a regular day when we go, I said the 75% off is a great deal. But like on a regular day when I go shopping at Lowe's
right.
for dirt, me find that even after Lowe's give me 10% off, it is still more expensive than if I just gone to Walmart. Yeah, cause me buy.
So what I'm saying is that
The 75% off would be a fantastic deal.
right.
Yeah, that would be a great deal. Yeah. I forgot to drive out there. The nearest Lowe's to me is 22 miles. A Bushman. Yeah, the nearest Lowe's to me is about 22 miles. Walmart
You
is.
really live in the bush.
Yeah, Walmart is 2 miles down the road. Nowhere else not that close to me. 10 miles down the road, I have one next one name. You know what I want the name? I don't remember what name, but it's a store. It's a place where you get garden store. Those are the only place where they're near to me. No, nowhere else not they near to me. I have to go drive go Fayetteville. Yeah. I drive go Fayetteville. And then if you drive come back home, I do a whole heap of load in my car. I can't bother with that. Some of that go lowest. Yeah, that's too much. I can't be bothered. I mean, I really go out of Lowe's out there, so it's too far. Like I can't be bothered. Yeah, easier if you just go down a Walmart there, so and just buy the dirt and just keep it moving. Rather than for waste gas, drive all the way, go a Lowe's. But anywho, people, all right. Me think me talk enough for the morning. So yeah, so I'm gonna get myself together. I have several things. Watch out, my neighbor just come. She not come. Yeah, so that's gonna be it from me this morning, people. Thanks again to everybody who came into the live. We are going to do this again maybe tomorrow morning. Yeah, maybe tomorrow morning. Providing I reach home at a reasonable time, I'm not too tired. Because if I'm too tired and I'm starting to read and forget what I've read immediately, that means me not ready for the reading yet. Okay? So we will see what happens tomorrow morning. All right, AG, Andrea. So I will see you all sometime later, my friends. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. God, see you later.